Hey, what is up guys? So we're going to be talking about a few new cards that are actually being announced for Rising Rampage. So it's about to come out in the OCG, so I guess around this time it makes sense for a lot of the cards to be announced. There's a lot of cards to actually go over, so let's actually go through them as soon as possible. So right off the bat we have DinoWrestler Marshall and Kylo. Level 2 Dinosaur Effect Monster, 1000 attack, 0 defense. First effect, if another DinoWrestler monster you control battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can send this card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, and your battling monster cannot be destroyed by that battle. Also, half the attack of your opponent's battling monster until the end of the damage step. Second effect, once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So it's obviously really nice. It could work both for your turn and also in your opponent's turn as well, since it's coming back anyway. And you know, obviously you can't use this as a link material, but overall the whole battling effect and everything like that is definitely quite nice, and giving it the ability to actually be used from the hand and field is definitely very useful as well. Next we have DinoWrestler Rambrachio, level 5 Earth Dinosaur Effect Monster, 1600 attack, 0 defense. First effect can only be used once per turn. So first effect, when a DinoWrestler monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. A little slow there because you want to special summon more of your monsters during the main phase, the link summon, and the fact that it comes out in defense as well during the battle phase, a little unfortunate there. But second effect, other DinoWrestler monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Again, just a little too late here. This monster doesn't really do too much. Honestly, it's more so a card that really allows you to set up for a main phase 2 play, but overall, the fact that it comes out during the battle phase and its effect is not really too amazing as well, so a little disappointed there. The next card is definitely very interesting, so it's called Runryu, otherwise Storm Dragon for the TCG's naming. Level 4 Wind Dragon Effect Monster, 1500 attack and 200 defense. First effect, you could only control one Storm Dragon. Second effect, if you control a spellcaster monster, you could special summon this card from the hand. And third effect, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you could target one monster with 1500 attack and 200 defense in your graveyard, accept itself and special summon it. So this is obviously following the whole Charmer and their partner monsters, and this is obviously Wind's partner, so it's definitely really cool to see this. Now, a very similar card that came out regarding this is kind of like Gigabyte. Gigabyte was actually a card that came out a long time ago and it has the exact same effects as this, so definitely really nice that we're finally getting one that's correlated to the Wind archetype, or Win, the Wind Charmer. So it's very nice here. I'm sure Anders is actually very excited about this because he's playing Charmers as well, and well, not as well, he is playing Charmers. He's the only person I know who's actually taking the effort to actually make a Charmer deck. He's done deck profiles on his channel, so definitely check him out. But overall, he's definitely going to be very excited about this particular card here. Next, we have Cataclysmic Bellowing Coulter, level 8 Wind Fairy Effect Monster. Nice to see a lot of winds here. 2600 attack, 200 defense. Face up wind monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect. You could special summon this card from the hand. Then you could return one spell trap on the field to the top of the deck. That is definitely very nice. You could bounce back either your opponent's or your own. So really nice there, and the fact that it supports wind as well, definitely like that. Next we have Voltester, level 7 Dark Thunder Effect Monster, 2500 attack, 1000 defense. If this card is special summoned to our zone, a link monster points to, destroy as many link monsters linked to this card as possible, and if you do, destroy as many monsters that were linked to those destroyed monsters as possible, repeatedly resolving this part of this effect until it destroys no monsters. This card cannot be destroyed by this effect. If your opponent creates an extra link combo and fills up the whole board, this might actually be the answer to actually deal with that particular type of thing. But of course, it does have to be special summoned out through your own card effects, so obviously you're going to have to make a deck that revolves around this card, but overall it is definitely a great card to get rid of an extra link combo, so perhaps it could go in the side deck, but overall summoning out a level 7 monster specifically required to special summon itself is definitely going to be quite difficult, and these days link monsters also have a lot of protection as well from card effects and different stuff like that. Moving on, we have Reversible Beetle, a level 3 Earth Insect Flip Effect monster, 1100 attack, 1500 defense. Both effects can only be used once per turn. First effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, change this card and all other monsters in its column to face down defense position. Second effect is a flip effect, shuffle this card and all other face up monsters in its column into the deck. So definitely quite interesting here. It is an Earth Insect Flip Effect monster, which means I could potentially try this out in crawlers or any other flip decks as well, like Tin Dangles, which I don't really see too many people playing that deck. But overall, it is definitely very interesting to see what this card could potentially do here. The fact that it could just return all cards that are face up in the same column to the deck, definitely quite nice here. And also the second effect is also nice as well. I mean, it's a non-target, just force your opponent's monsters to face down defense. Of course it won't affect the link monsters because they can't go into defense, but even so, it's a very nifty effect. Next we have Magicite Ritualist, level 1 fire spellcast effect monster, 0 attack, 2000 defense. First effect, each time a spell card is activated, place a spell counter on this card when it resolves. Second effect, during the end phase you could remove 3 spell counters from this card, then target one of your banished spells. Add from your deck to your hand one card with that card's name. So definitely very interesting, but a little slow here. Obviously this is to support the Endymion deck, but overall it's not particularly amazing. I don't really see myself playing this if I actually build Endymions. However, we do have Magical Scales of Libra, level 4 water spellcaster Pendulum Tuner normal monster, 1000 attack and defense, Pendulum Scale 5, Pendulum effect. First effect can only be used once per turn. However, its effect is declare level from 1 to 6, then target 2 face-up monsters you control until the end of the turn, reduce the first monster's level by the declared level, and if you do, increase the second monster's level by the declared level. Very interesting. He is a tuner monster himself, so maybe he might see play here. It's nice to see that it is kind of promoting a pendulum deck to go into synchro summoning as well. Alright, so right here we have a link monster now. So a link 2 Dark Fiend link effect monster, Miss Kate Barber. Attack 200, very low, but points to the middle left and bottom center. Link materials, just 2 generic monsters. At the start of the battle phase, you can target either this card or one monster this card points to, banish that monster until the end phase. So let's move on to Fury of Fire, normal spell. This card is a Salamangreat card. Basically, you can special summon up to 2 Salamangreat monsters with different names from your hand and or graveyard in defense position with their effects negated. Also, for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you can only special summon from your extra deck once. So obviously it is very strong. It's kind of like a double monster reborn, but overall the fact that you're restricted from summoning from the extra deck to just once for the rest of this turn, it's definitely going to be very difficult. A very situational card indeed. I could see myself playing maybe one copy of this. It's going to be searchable. But overall it is definitely going to be a very risky card to play. Now, one card I'm actually very excited for is Hypernova Ray Burst. It's a normal spell and you could only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Banish, face down, 2 monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set and are in your hand and or face up on the field, and then draw 2 cards. It's another draw card, so it's definitely very interesting here, since we can draw 2 cards here for a really fair cost, honestly. But monsters that cannot be normal summoned and set, you'll be looking into stuff like ritual monsters. So ritual decks will definitely strive the most from this particular deck here, this particular card here, and you could use it with extra deck monsters as well, but you know, they're not going to be in the hand, they're going to be on the field. And the fact that you could actually use this from the hand as well, it goes to show you, yeah, it's not bad at all. But of course it's kind of more so like get rid of 2 cards and then draw 2 cards, so you're not necessarily plussing off this. Technically you're actually on a -1, But overall, the fact that you kind of get to replenish your hand is definitely quite nice here. And we have Psychic Implosion, quick play spell. You can activate only one card with this card's name per turn. During the battle phase, target one face-up monster you control. You lose life points equal to that monster's attack, and if you do, double that monster's attack until the end of this turn. It cannot attack directly during the turn you activate this card. Very situational card. I don't really see this card being any impactful in the particular formats or upcoming formats. I just don't really see too many beneficial uses of this card later on. Covering Curtain, continuous spell. You could only use the first and second effects once per turn. First effect, if this card you control would be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect, you could destroy this card instead of one of those. If a card your opponent controls would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could banish this card from your graveyard instead of destroying one of those cards. So definitely a very interesting card here, seeing that it could actually protect different things, and the fact that it's continuous and also possible in the graveyard as well, definitely very nice. So this particular card is actually going to be very interesting here. Sextet Summon. Normal spell. Banish 6 monsters of the same monster type, but different monster card types, one each among Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, and Link that are in your hand, in your grave, and or face up on your field. Then special summon from your main deck or extra deck one monster of the same type as those banished monsters. Alright, so this card kind of seems a bit costly, but overall it could be interesting. I would be curious to see if someone would actually be willing to play a deck revolving around this card. Next we have Magicite of Spell Salvation. Activate this card by banishing one monster that is face up on your field or in your graveyard. Special summon this card to your monster zone as a normal monster. Spellcaster light attack 0, defense 0 with the same level as that banished monster's original level. This card is still treated as a trap, but overall the fact that this card just comes out as a monster, it's definitely quite nice. Moving on, we have Draw Game, Normal Trap. If a card on each side of the field is destroyed at the same time by battle or card effect, each player draws 2 cards. Beneficial for both opponents. Overall, I mean, if you want to, then sure, you could play it, but overall I don't really see this card to be overall too great. The last card for today is a Vida, Maker of Binaries. Level 11 Light Cyberse, effect monster, 3500 attack and defense, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by having 8 or more linked monsters with different names on the field and or in the graveyard. You cannot special summon other monsters during the turn you special summon this card. This card's special summon cannot be negated. If this card is special summoned, shuffle into the decks all other monsters that are currently banished in any graveyard and on the field. Cards and effects cannot be activated in response to this card's activation, but kind of acts as similar like Sophia, if you guys remember what Sophia did, if you brought it out, but in a more scaled down version. But basically being able to return back banished cards in a graveyard and on the field into the deck is definitely a very crazy effect. I mean, it's basically a reset the board kind of thing here. This card could overall be very devastating for the opponent, because keep in mind this card's special summon cannot be negated, and it's a perfect boss monster for Cyberse, because having 8 or more link monsters with different names on the field and or in the graveyard, it's going to be very difficult to accomplish with a lot of other decks aside from Cyberse. So definitely looking forward to this. What a great card to actually end off this particular video here. But that's pretty much it for this particular video. It seems that I have been actually talking for quite a bit, but there were a lot of cards to actually go over here. It's a shame that we didn't really get too amazing pictures for these particular cards here, but overall tell me what you guys actually think about these cards. I definitely think a few of them are definitely really cool. Again, we will get a few cards that are actually just kind of redundant and kind of pointless almost, but overall you can't expect every single card in the set to be amazing. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.